AP Tone, we're learning a lot about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Did you see the Mark Kaboly report on X? Mark Kaboly, who is a contributor to this particular program and the WWE, D-Bone makes his graphics for every one of his tweets that he writes out. I think he's done a great job kind of changing the local sports reporter game. Just posts on X, and the views that he's getting on some of these are hundreds of thousands, where maybe in the past it was just tens of thousands, whatever the case. More people are able to see the local reporting, which is a beautiful thing. The local reporters deserve to continue to exist. The local reporters, have a beat on the things that are going on, which is why they are beat reporters. Mark Kaboly is certainly the first of many. I assume they'll be taking his talents strictly to X because there's no real length limit where you can just type up an entire article. In the article that he released yesterday, kind of surrounding and involving the Pittsburgh Steelers, he said reports surfaced during the year that offense coordinator Artie Smith preferred Fields over Wilson, but that was never substantiated, says Mark Kaboly. Never substantiated. It was being talked about. There's rumblings. Still, despite Wilson and Smith spending countless hours together after the typical workday, watching film and publicly joking about it, team source says recently said that Wilson and Smith did not have a very good working relationship, but fought through their differences as best they could.
Whoa.
I thought these two were thick as thieves. Just yesterday we were talking about maybe Russ and Artie Smith going to a team together because of how much they are. Allegedly, their wives had to joke about how much time they're spending together instead of spending with the family. Now, Kaboly's saying maybe they aren't getting along. Now, Artie Smith is interviewing for a couple head coaching jobs. Russell Wilson's a free agent. I'm seeing him work out. He looks unbelievable. He's back to work.
Oh, yeah.
He's back to work with Team 3.
Already?
He's back to work. He said, the grind never stops. New year, new season. Let's get back to work. What are your thoughts on everything that's kind of unfolding with this Pittsburgh Steelers team? Pickens, late to the Christmas game, amongst other things. Artie Smith, Russell Wilson, allegedly, potentially not on the same page. Justin Fields, obviously not as much like during the season, but now he's being spoke about a little bit more glowingly by people. Where do the Pittsburgh Steelers fall right now, and what are your thoughts on the future from your particular standpoint?
Obviously, things could be better. Things could be a lot better. They're not great right now because there's a lot of stuff coming out, and not a lot of it is good. The Artie Smith and Russell Wilson stuff wouldn't be super surprising to me. Artie Smith, a salt of the earth, mustachio man. Russell Wilson wears his own jersey, a lot.
What?
We know Russ. We know Team 3. He was great for us all season long. But, the oil and water type situation that could be between him and Artie Smith is not exactly surprising, but they are professionals, so they tried to work together. And Artie Smith spoke glowingly of Justin Fields all year, and Mike Tomlin was asked, did Justin Fields show enough that he could be the starter for this team next year? And Mike Tomlin said, absolutely. So if I'm reading the tea leaves, I would personally put my money on Justin Fields to be the potential starter for next year. One, I think he'll be cheaper in that situation, and he's much, much, much younger than Russell Wilson is, and we're trying to find the future. The George Pickens stuff, Mike Tomlin said he's got a lot of growing to do. I know a lot of Steelers fans wouldn't be sad if there's a lot of, hey, let's just trade GP and get this over with situations going around. We've had wide receivers in the past, Antonio Brown, Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool. There's becoming a bit of a trend in Pittsburgh with the wide receivers. While they are very good,
well, one of them Hall of Fame, the other one's not so much. So let's make sure we remember that.
Yes.
Everybody the Steelers fans, I think, bring up AB. It's like AB also best player on the football field.
Yeah. Yes.
These other guys not. Maybe George Pickens will become that with the amount of ability that he has and the amount of talent he has, but it hasn't happened just yet. Maybe it's the offense, maybe it's him, but I think you're willing to go through that with AB because it's like,
yes,
weapon.
This guy,
one of touchdowns.
This guy
worked his ass off too.
Yeah, at practice, it was a worker. That is what he's doing. You don't become that great without all the work. It was just also, everything else kind of surrounding AB that Tomlin had to navigate and negotiate. Deontay Johnson, they're coming out saying this guy's the biggest bum that has ever come through the NFL. Wasted talent because of an attitude problem. He's been on 4 different teams in the last 8 months. He just got cut from a playoff team because after a win, he was potting about how many times he got the ball. You're new to the team, pal. You just got there. You guys just won the playoffs. Can't be pouting. D'Amico says, get the hell out of here to Deontay Johnson. And Chase Claypool, that first year he was great.
10 touchdowns.
Had a lot of other people on the field with him too, right?
Yeah.
At that time?
Yeah.
And then obviously he becomes a TikTok.
Yeah, fashion guy.
Juju, thanks.
Turned into a Chinese guy.
No, he's
much.
Canadian.
No, I know.
Canadian Chinese.
You're talking about TikTok taking him down.
Exactly.
That's maybe when Gallagher and the government said, we got to stop
This
TikTok.
needs to stop now.
It's taking down NFL players.
This was Gallagher's deal?
These guys are too busy. Well, if it's anti-China, you know it's Gallagher. Yeah. But these NFL guys are doing all this, doing the dances. We just want ball. TikTok's doing it. And then they started snooping around. They said, let's get him out of there. But to your point about the wide receivers at the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's like, how come it only happens there, seemingly, and doesn't happen everywhere else? I think it does happen everywhere else. The Steelers, though, just get amplified because they're always going to be in the playoffs, always going to win, and then they're going to fail. And then you start pointing out, what's the issues? Well, there's red flags here, there's red flags here, there's red flags here. Let's go to a 12-year NFL veteran, Super Bowl champion, former member of the Pittsburgh Steelers, actually drafted to the Pittsburgh Steelers, if I do recall. A.Q. Shipley, back in your hometown of Pittsburgh, a lot of drama right now, saying there's going to be changes on all levels. What does that mean to you as somebody that's been around ball?
The biggest issue that Pittsburgh keeps doing is they just keep putting Band-Aids on things. They don't do a full wholesale change. So it's like, okay, we're going to take one person out, but nothing gets actually fixed. And it's constant over and over again. There's a quarterback issue there. So, okay, we're going to get rid of Russell. We're going to put Justin Fields back in. It's the same guy you had the first 5 weeks of the season you didn't feel comfortable with, so now we're going to go back. Now all of a sudden he's great. Now we're a playoff team. We're going to win playoff games. I just don't see that happening. Receiver-wise, you're relying on George Pickens. It's continuously the same problem over and over again. So how do we do that? We just put a Band-Aid on it. We just do that. Defensively, same stuff. We got issues. We got glaring issues, but we get a new defensive coordinator, or we'll fire a coach and we'll bring a new coach in. Again, put a Band-Aid on it. We never actually fix the problem.
But they're able to win in spite of all this, but not enough to actually win, but not enough losses to get a good draft pick. So
Correct.
It's like they're kind of stuck in this purgatory, which is why Yinzers are so pissed off.
That's right. That's exactly right. I mean, it's constant. You go 8-9 or 9-8 or 10-7 or whatever it is, you're always going to be a 15 through 20 pick. You can't get a top-tier quarterback. You can't get exactly what you need to fix the program. And then we feel good about it because we're winning enough, but we're not winning the whole thing.
How's Mr. Ships? How's Pop feel about the whole thing?
He's over it. He's throwing in the towel.
Oh, no.
He doesn't mind living in his misery. He's still a Pirates fan, right?
He's looking forward to Pirate season.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's where he is.
Excuse
me? Yeah, and we're talking Yinzer, fuck his dad. I mean, you're talking full on, just like Tim out there. And I think all Yinzers are feeling the same exact way. It's like, yeah, it's fun to be above 500. That's cool.
That sounds great.
We go over to Cleveland, drive over to the Mistake on a Lake. We say, how you guys doing? You guys stink. Look at us. We're above 500. That's basically what Steelers fans are done with.
That's right.
Not saying it's Mike Tomlin's issue either. This is an entire organization, program, tradition. Hopefully they're able to make some wholesale changes and actually make some changes and be able to get to the next step. Or all of them fail and they go way down the other way, and then maybe some actual changes can take place. Nonetheless, I would love Mike Tomlin to be the coach of my team, which is, I think, what 28 teams are saying whenever they hear Steelers fans bitch about what's going on in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, exactly. So for like a full reset, is that something where Tomlin would have to leave? I'm in the same boat where it's like, hey, just went through a terrible year. The last 2 years have been terrible. Would love to have above 500 Mike Tomlin, but obviously don't want to lose every year in the first round of the playoffs. Like, can you do wholesale changes while keeping the same head coach throughout, the last 10 years?
Yeah, sometimes I think you just need to separate. I think there's a point in time where sometimes it just wears out its welcome. He's a phenomenal football coach, but sometimes over time, the same guy in the same situation in the same building becomes stale, period. And it just becomes 10-7, and it just becomes what you are. I'm not saying that that's the answer, but that's what I feel. That is exactly what I feel. Sometimes it's okay, even when things are good or okay, to separate.
Yeah, and I think there's a freshness too. And whenever there's
Correct.
a void at the top, there's another need to kind of impress people. But to Connor's point, the grass is not always greener. Familia over there for the Steelers, one of the pillars of that Pittsburgh Steelers team. And there's been a lot of chatter about the most expensive defense in ball is that Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and they weren't able to get the job done. And, the Ravens obviously do what they did to the Steelers in the playoffs. What are your thoughts on the entirety? I heard Teej say he needs to be more willing to do more. I think he took on some ownership in the failures. What are your thoughts on how the Steelers currently are set up for the future?
Yeah, I don't think there's any denying what happened at the end of the season. You lose 5 in a row while your direct division opponent goes on and wins 5 in a row and is headed looking like an absolute wagon headed into the next round of the playoffs. And very, very tough scene the other night, obviously. Defense giving up that many yards, offense not really being able to move the ball. It's a tough situation, man. It's like everybody said. Everybody's kind of talked through it all already in the good enough but not good enough scenario, which puts you in a very difficult place. And that's just kind of where they are right now. And it's finding a way to break through that, finding a way to take that next step, figuring out why it's some of those end of the season, first round of the playoff failures, and what has created that. Is it something with the systems? Is it something with the way they do things, with the end of the year? What is it? I think that's the answers everybody inside and outside of that building is trying to find at the moment.
How long is TJ locked down for there with the Steelers? 3 more years?
No, he's got 1 year left on his deal, so it's
Oh, shit. Contract year for Teach next year?
Yeah, he looks like a great.
no. I mean, it's that kind of. I mean, there's only one left, so he'd be a free agent after this coming season.
Yeah, that's what
True
I'm saying.
free agent.
Contract year. He's about to get 20 sacks next year. Let's assume TJ gets to the quarterback 20. Not that he wouldn't normally, but if it's how many times has TJ got to a contract year? Is this the second time now?
I mean, you ever go into last year of a contract? I mean, I don't know many people that are going into the last year of a contract like that.
I got franchise tagged after my contract was over, but I did get a deal done before. You're saying
He'll get extended.
okay, Tone, are you sure? There's a lot of problems. There's going to be changes at all levels, they said. Who's going to be making the change from Hammer, Dahn, Dahn?
Teej is not one of those problems and does not need to do anything. He will get extended because he's a Steeler for life.
How much you paying him, Tone?
As much as he wants.
Like, remember, he kicked down a door. Get the deal done
Bingo.
last time. He was kind of sick of the meddling and the agent. I don't know.
I do think he knows, like he said, like you talked about, like I do think that he knows that there can be some moving around. There can be some ways to get some of these chips, some of these double teams. Like there's things that can be done here to try and minimize that, because it's very clear that there is heavy keying on exactly where he's going to be and just throwing a significant number of bodies at him and putting obstacles in the way. So moving around certainly does help that, and I think it's something that he just recently said that he's more open to in the future and is going to work on.
Okay, can't wait to see what he ends up and what he adds to his bag. You know, we got over the right side, maybe up the gut a little bit, too. Maybe a little bit, you know, because Jage, you used to move a lot. You used to move around. Now, granted, Teach is a monster. We understand it, but you are an actual giant of a big. So you could play tackle on defensive line at your size if you had a couple more burgers.